Hi, do you want to learn how to save thousands of dollars in your next real estate transaction? I'm sure you want to, and there's an easy way to do that. My name here is Jürgen Herzog. I'm with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Best Life. I'm doing real estate here on the California Central Coast for over 27 years. I have negotiated thousands of purchase contracts, and the best way to save thousands of dollars or more or favorable terms in your next transaction is to negotiate properly. Doing it for such a long time, I've seen agents on the other side. Some of them are great negotiators, great communicators, and I've seen a lot of agents, they do not know how to negotiate and they lose their clients money left and right. So I want to go over a few tips how you or your agent can avoid negotiating badly. And a successful negotiation will help you not just save money, also have a better transaction. The first thing you need to do when you want to negotiate properly, successfully, is to know your market in and out. Do the research or let your agent do the research. Is it a buyer's market? A buyer's market is when the buyer is a little bit in the driver's seat. That means more inventory, properties stay on the market for a little longer, and list prices getting reduced here and there in the neighborhood. If you know what market it is, you know how your position is when you negotiate, if it's a position of strength or weakness, and then you have to learn how to compensate for that. A seller's market is the opposite. That is what we're dealing here on the Central Coast for many, many years now. Low inventory. Sellers can dictate the terms a little bit better than the buyers. Prices going up and multiple offers. It's sometimes very competitive. So once you know which market you're in, you should also know the position your opposing party is in. If the buyer just gave notice on their rental, the seller is probably a little bit more in a position of strength to negotiate. Or if the seller just bought a house and really needs to move, well, that's important information for your agent or you to know. So do the research. Then one thing a lot of people and agents forget is negotiation is communication. So communicating well means you're negotiating well. The main conversation you will have with the seller or the buyer is the first offer. Either your first counter offer if you're the seller or the first offer if you're the buyer. Do not offend the other party. If you are in a position of strength based on the market conditions, let the other party know, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. The one thing is, if you're able to get the other party on your side on an emotional level, it will help you get favorable terms or maybe a discount here and there because you're on the same page. A buyer wants to buy the house, a seller wants to sell them the house. You're actually in the same team, you just have to negotiate the details. Also, what is forgotten way too often by agents is it's not just the price. It's not just the bottom line. Sometimes favorable terms help you to get a better price. For example, do the sellers need a little longer to move out? Give them a rent back, but ask for a discount in price. Or the buyers, are they in a bind? Do they need to store things on your property before closing? If that helps, well, ask for a little higher price, but offer them your garage. It's sometimes the little things that make the transaction a lot smoother and your negotiation a lot more successful. And then another one comes back to communication. The power of silence. I can't tell you how often the other agents give away so much information that is not favorable to their client and helps me to negotiate more than I should be able to for my clients. Giving things away like, oh, the sellers are under the gun, they bought another house, they're worried about 2 payments. Stuff like this will help me if I'm on the buyer side. And the same goes for the buyer side. Just sometimes zip it, don't say anything unless it's favorable. As a seller's agent, you could say, hey, we had a lot of showings of the house, there's a lot of activity. If you want to put in an offer, it might be competitive. That's information that helps your seller in this case, but most times people just are too chatty and give away more information than they have to. Silence is the key. Then the last big point is have a backup plan. Don't negotiate based on desperation. That never works for you. So if this house doesn't work out for you, or if this buyer doesn't work out for you, have a backup plan. Ask your agent, what could we do? What's the worst case scenario? Once you have a backup plan and also a maximum amount you want to offer, things will get a lot easier for you because you have the calm that you need to negotiate strongly. To summarize it real quickly, the first thing is do your research, put in the effort, make a strategic first offer, think beyond just price, use silence as a tool, and have a backup plan. And now I want to give you one bonus point that will actually save you thousands in negotiating pretty much anything in your life in the future. And it's a little thing me and my business partner, April Whitehead, apply quite often in negotiating. It's you have to negotiate a little higher or lower, but not too high or too low for the other party not to accept. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say there is a home, $850,000 list price on the market for some time. Buyer comes in at $800,000. The listing agent talks to the sellers. They're willing to meet in the middle at $825,000. And the buyer is totally fine with that. And the whole negotiation could stop right there. Everybody is on board with it. But what if you, as the buyer's agent, just advise your buyer, and it doesn't have to be always price, but in this case, let's say, well, $825 is a good price for that property. Why don't you counter back at $822,500? It's only $2,500. We all know the seller will not negotiate that anymore, but it's $2,500 in your pocket. And if you do that in every negotiation in your life when you can and when it's feasible, you save thousands of dollars over the years. You can do that when you buy a car, when you negotiate anything. Make your offer close to the almost mentally, emotionally already agreed price or term, and you will get it accepted, and you shave off a little bit either as a discount or you get a little higher price. So that's my tips for today. Negotiate properly, save a lot of money. It's not that hard. Just put a little bit effort in and use those strategies I mentioned before. Good luck. This is Jürgen Herzog, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Best Life, here on the Central Coast.